not the same.
I mean, I think we're all the same, but I don't think we think the same. I think you're all in my head. That's the first thought in my mind.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants, and of course I'm your host, your YouTube Messiah, the often imitated, never duplicated, and Lake Erie WWE Champion, Team Vicious. And folks, we are talking about Raw this week. Was in Miami, Florida. You know, sun, sand, beautiful women in and possibly scantily clad clothing. Oh, but yeah, before we do get into that, big news that did happen over the course of the weekend, over the course of this past weekend at the time of this recording. 3 wrestlers did pass Brickhouse Brown. He was a legend. I've never had the, I've only known of him of name. I never got around to actually watching any of his classic stuff. From what I've been told, he was fairly decent. Guy looked good. It is sad to hear when people go. As well as Brian Christopher, Jerry Lawler's son, Grandmaster Sexay. I'm not gonna lie, I was never a fan of his, but again, it is still sad to hear when somebody that you grew up watching went. As well as the one that really hit me the hardest, yeah, it was Nikolai Volkoff. And for those of you, the younger viewers of this show who may not know, Nikolai Volkoff came in. He was tag partners with the Iron Sheik. He was the Russian guy who was always known for butchering the Russian national anthem. It was basically like that. The man lived a full life. He had a great, he did great in WWE. Some would probably look at it and say, oh, he had a shit run. He was just used for a comedy bit. He was a legend. He was a former tag champ. He got to work with a friend of his, the Sheik. He got to work with He got to work with Freddie Blassie. Yep. He had a great run. Not only that, the man was fucking well known and loved by everyone that ever met him. So don't even try to say that kind of shit, Now, with that said, let's move on with the show. Raw, it started out with Roman coming on down, hyping up on how he's got a match with Lesnar at SummerSlam for the Universal title, and on how Brock is here, but Brock ain't coming out. And again, I'm fairly adamant at the idea of, if a smart fan goes and tries to do that, well, I'm too smart to get worked like that. Dude, you already got worked, if you're thinking that. Because, as much as the fans were shitting on the idea of Brock never being there, only defending the title once, maybe twice a year, and all that. As much as the fans were shitting on it, and which, fully well deserving, now that they caught on to that, they're fucking working it. They're using it as an angle. And why not? It works. It's bringing attention to it. It's bringing attention to the title. It's bringing attention to the show, to the character. So yeah, by all means, go ahead, shit on it, talk about it, complain all you want about on how Brock's not there. But the second you do and you're done, I want you to think for a minute. Did the one who just said he couldn't get worked because you're talking about something that you said you wouldn't or you don't like to? You're putting a face, you're putting a name to the face, you're putting names and eyes on it. That's all it is, plain and simple. Now back to the show. Brock's, Paul's out there, he's talking about on how Brock's here, he's not showing up. Then Paul Heyman, mind savior, Paul Heyman, comes out, ladies and gentlemen, hypes up the crowd, talks about on how he, does his normal bit, hypes up the crowd, and God bless, I've said this, I say this every time about Paul Heyman, but it is the God's honest fucking truth. The man could talk the devil into setting himself on fire and fucking loving it. That's what kind of a salesman Paul Heyman is. Honest to God. If he ever went into insurance or selling mortgages or something, man, the guy'd make more money than that freaking cat that was in Wolf of Wall Street. The guy who was robbing everyone. That's all it is, plain and simple. But either way, I'm digressing again. My fucking ADD's kicking in overtime. Back to the show. Paul's out, hypes up how Brock's there. Brock doesn't want to come out, and then, that's pretty, and pretty much leaves it at that. Roman winds up looking at him saying, now you see, it's not going to be like that. Brock's not going to go and be a dual sport champion. Brock, when I get my hands on Brock, he's going to walk out a SummerSlam beaten up without that title, and he's going to go back to the MMA, and he's going to be known as Roman's bitch. Basically, that sums it up. I know for a fact there was a few fangirls out there just watching that thinking, I want to be Roman's bitch, which, hey, it's all well and good. I think those same kind of things about certain women wrestlers as well. Now that I'm done making myself look more like a sleaze than I am, let's get on to the first match of the night. Finn Balor, Baron Corbin. This one stemming from last week, Corbin toying with Finn, doing mind games, moving all of his gear out of the locker room and saying he has his own personal locker room now, and it being one of those small little tykes playhouses. And Finn just says, oh, that's perfect. I got my own Finn Funhouse. And, so yeah, just kept doing that. Now, how the match went, Corbin started out with the power game. Liked on how Finn, just as he was starting to build up a comeback, Corbin, boom, would show a quick way and an answer to stopping it and hitting the brakes on it. It's nice to see because, again, something different, in the sense of, because if you go back and you watch previous matches, and I'm not saying this in particular, but like maybe 5, 10, or even 15 years ago, you see some of the matches, excuse me, you see the big guy against the smaller guy. Normally it's little guy throws out a couple shots, starts working them a little, but then the big guy's just like, boom, clubs him and then just starts pounding them into hamburger meat basically and beats the fucking shit out of them. But this, it makes it more like believable. It makes it more believable in a sense because, I don't like using myself when I tell these kind of stories because I always feel like I'm making it a show about me and I don't want it. But I've been in my fair share of fights and I'm not the biggest guy out there. I'm maybe $180. I'm about $180. And I've gone against dudes that were bigger and thicker than me that looked like they could fucking bench press me without breaking a sweat. But as Mike Tyson once said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. So yeah. But back to this match. I liked it. I thought it was a decent opener. Match came to an end. Corbin, he hit the end of days on Balor. So yeah, I'm calling it now. You could say you heard it here on Vicious Rants. They're going to have a rematch. Corbin, Balor, SummerSlam. That's going to be the rubber match. So next up we got women's action. Natalya going against Alicia Fox. Natalya being accompanied by Ronda Rousey. and Alicia Fox being accompanied by Alexa Bliss because Mickie James is not here. There was a reason why this Raw was sad. Okay, there you go. See, you guys heard it here now. Yeah. So yeah, and glad to see Alicia Fox back. Finally, WWE has a woman character crazy enough to be passable, to be crazy enough to be considered a woman that would date me. And if you know my track record and you know my history, you damn well know I tend to attract the crazy ones. And I'm not talking like the ones that always say, oh, I'm just a little out there. No, I mean like the shit like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest crazy. But yeah, back to this match. It was pretty okay, you know. Liked on how Alicia was, you know, Foxy being Foxy. You know, she wound up working her shit. She was pulling off the crazy woman bit. You know, it was half decent. Match came to an end. You know, as Alicia was starting to gain the upper hand, went over to the side, started taunting Ronda. Next thing you know, Ronda got up on the apron. Ref was yelling at her as Natalya's hanging on the rope trying to catch her, collect herself. Bliss, boom, straight up decks her, which then leads Alicia Fox to getting a pin. 1, 2, 3. That was it. And then leads to an ensuing brawl between all of them, which then leads to an official match for next week. Ronda Rousey having her Monday Night Raw debut against Alicia Fox. So yeah. Next match we get Braun Strowman versus Jinder Mahal, and this came on because last week Jinder was trying to help Braun calm himself and find his center, kumbaya, shanti, como estas, all that kind of bullshit, that find yourself mumbo jumbo inner peace bullshit. I found more inner peace in a 6-pack of A&W, but to pretty much sum up this match, Braun threw a few shoves at Jinder, and then Kevin Owens came out of nowhere, stole Braun Strowman's briefcase. Braun chased him around for a bit, and then Braun got counted out, so Jinder won via countout. So, let it not be said that Kalisto and Jinder Mahal do have victories over Braun Strowman. So, yeah. And this is all because at SummerSlam, Kevin Owens has a match with Braun Strowman for the Money in the Bank contract. So, honestly, I see Braun winning that match, but in that 1 in a million chance, Vince goes into the production meeting on Sunday and says, but what if Kevin Owens wins? And then he cashes in. Nobody would see that coming. God damn, that's fucking brilliant. You know, there is that, you know, always say there's the 1 in a million possibility on it. You know, never say never in this business. Next matchup, we got Apollo Crews doing solo action against Akam from the Authors of Pain. And, you know, this was fairly decent. And honestly, my biggest takeaway, and I try not to be negative on this show as much as possible, but my biggest takeaway wasn't negative. It was the pre-recorded promo that they were playing while the Authors of Pain were coming down. You know, it really makes me miss Paul Ellering. You know, these guys are really good. These guys got good talent working in the ring, but my God, their mic work needs improving. You know, their promo skills, I should say, not their mic work. Because they can handle the mic, they got good intensity, it's just the way they deliver the promo. It's best way I could describe it, like, kind of like if you ever worked in telemarketing, if you had to read the script to go and sell the frickin' super new amazing soap to a customer. You don't just read off a teleprompter like this. No, you got to make the script your own. Put your own feel, put your own stank on it. But yeah. Honestly, think what would be best for them boys is if between the time they get put that for talking faster than I'm thinking. What I think would be good for them boys more than anything would be if they wound up getting a chance to, while they're at house shows, just cut a promo, shoot and do heel, real nasty, snide, heel-like promos. You know, just keep doing stuff like that. Don't let them on TV, just at house shows. So that way they can build up and get better. And, you know, the beauty part about with the house shows, you know, you only get so much recordings and pictures from that come up online. So it would work perfect. That being said, though, back to the match. Apollo Crews versus Akam. Akam, he worked the power game on Crews non-stop. Crews, though, he's a power guy himself, so it was good. Really like seeing Apollo's work. You know, I've said it before. This kid can go places. You know, and with Titus O'Neil with him also, and I have been preaching the greatness of Titus O'Neil for forever. Yes, I did shit when he was in the jobber spot for the longest time, you know, but, you know, Titus, man, the way he carries himself in and out of the ring, he is a top tier guy, no doubt. The man could be world champion, you know, he's got a killer figure. He works the mic like a motherfucker. He does all kinds of charity work outside of it. I mean, hell, they were putting over, while Apollo was walking down the ring, how Titus is doing charity work to help give like 5,000 or 8,000 kids back to school supplies. When's the last time you heard any other kind of wrestling star do something like that? My point exactly. That guy screams. That guy just looks like a money-making machine. You give him the right kind of opportunity and the right opponents, he could be a big-time champ. You know? Back to this match though, again, sorry, ADD keeps kicking in like a motherfucker. Match wound up coming to an end. Apollo Crews got a quick roll-up on Akam right out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to wind up getting, again, I'm calling it, we're going to get a tag match between these guys. If not next week, then more than likely SummerSlam. At the very latest. Next up, next match, and match of the night, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. Really liked on how this went. Drew, now, first thing I want to address is Dolph Ziggler's look. He flat ironed his hair and he looked like one of those classic rock station DJs on a radio station that is hyping up a stag and dragon. Looks like he had one too many himself. Yeah, that's not the most flattering look for Dolph Ziggler, if I'm going to be honest. Oof. But yeah, this Drew, he worked the power game. Seth, as he was trying to fight back, he stopped him, slammed him into the barricade, and then lifted up the apron, propped him underneath where the beams were to make the ring, not the support beams on the ends, but in the middle, and then just did a catapult him up in to get it. Like that, really liked seeing that. Again, something different. You know, always a fan of seeing different shit happen on the TV because you never know what's going to work until you try it. You know, now, very much so in the same way with Balor and Corbin, Seth, as he kept trying to get as he was coming back, Drew had an answer for him, but this one, you know, these guys already worked before, so it played that, you know, hey, Seth knows some of McIntyre's moves and all that. Not to say that it didn't for the previous match. But this one, it was just, whoa. the storytelling of, you know, Seth being mad, Seth being focused, wanting to just go through those guys and get his Intercontinental title back and show how he is the man. That's what made this the match of the night to me. Match came to an end Seth, he got his comeback after the commercial break. Just as he was about ready to hit the curb, just after he hit the curb stomp and he was going for the pin, next thing you know, Ziggler, boom, jumps in, attacks him, and then after that, you know, so yeah, that was it. Next matchup, we got impromptu tag match. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt going against the Revival with the B team on commentary. Ugh. You know, this match came to be because the B team, they were in the midst of an interview talking about on how they're great. You know, they've gotten an 8-0 undefeated streak since, you know, being officially named the B team and all that. And then Matt and Bray came out, talked about on how the B team is in their way towards their expedition of gold, yeah, and such. And then the Revival came out, said, you know, on how they deserve a title shot because they beat Lashley and Reigns, who are two top tier guys, twice as well. And then Matt and Bray threw Dallas into the Revival. They all started brawling until the B team crawled out of there, which then led to a commercial, and then we got this impromptu match. Fairly decent match. Matt was the team punching bag. Bray got the hot tag in. They all worked good. Bray cleaned up house though. Revival wound up getting the upper hand, got the win, hitting the Shatter Machine. 1, 2, 3. That was it. And yeah. Now, calling it here, more than likely, my guess, we're going to get a triple threat tag match at SummerSlam for the titles. I could see it going that way. If it does, I definitely would not have zero problem whatsoever with the Revival getting them straps. Yeah. Now, we're coming up to the last match of the night. Not the ending segment, but the last match, which would technically be main event of the night. Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan going against Sasha and Bayley, now being known as the Boss and Hug Connection, which kind of sounds like a story I tried to pitch to Brazzers once. Don't ask on how that one went. Anyways, as far as this match goes, Sasha and Bayley, you know, the baby faces were obviously in control right before the break. And then when they came back, Sasha wound up becoming a team punching bag, tagged in Bayley, she cleaned up house, and then Sasha tagged in, wound up taking down Liv. Liv started to come back, threw Sasha in her corner. Bayley did a blind tag. She came in, started taking out Liv. And then Sasha hit the backstabber, and then picked Liv up, threw her into Bayley, and then hit a Bayley to belly. 1, 2, 3. That was it. These two girls are getting along way too squeaky clean. There is just a matter of time before you just see that inevitable knife go into one of their backs. You know? And honestly, I can't put over on how Corey Graves' commentary on the Sasha and Bayley fiasco has been on point. You know, just constantly saying, the general manager Kurt Angle says all the time, if you got a problem, we don't settle our business in the back. We settle our problems out in the ring. Let them fight. Let them get it out. Fucking A right. You know? That's a Pittsburgh kid from fighting experience, growing up fighting, speaking from first-hand experience. I know that being a Philly kid growing up. When we had issues growing up. We didn't just go and scream and yell at each other. No. We threw down and we went at it. After we were done, we were square. We didn't have to talk to each other, but we were square. So anyways, now we come to the closing segment of the night. Earlier in the show, Kurt Angle cornered Paul Heyman and said, listen, Brock is obligated to come out, so to make an appearance. If he doesn't, your contract with WWE is going to be terminated. So that's it, plain and simple. During the show, they kept showing Paul trying to talk Brock into going out and coming out. Just for a few minutes, you know, kiss hands, you know, shake hands, kiss babies, cut a promo, go home, and then have a nice juicy steak. You know, Brock didn't want none of it. You know, so he just kept sitting in the back reading reading Frontiersman magazine, which, can't argue, I read that myself. Fuck, I really feel bad because I keep mentioning myself in this show. Fuck! Ugh. Anyways. Kurt Angle and Corbin come out. They hype out on how Brock hasn't showed up. And just as Kurt is about to say, you know what? You're... And then you hear Paul Heyman whimpering. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. I'm the advocate for the reigning, defending WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar. May I come in? Now, Mr. Angle, I have tried truly and dearly and implored to Brock to come on out. He just did not want to. You are right, Brock is not a good champion at all. He does not care about you. He does not care about them. He does not care about anyone except himself. Please, I implore you, do not do this to me, Mr. Angle. I have tried to make Brock much like you, a dual champion, a great champion, a man who won gold medals for his country with a broken freaking neck. Please, I beg you, don't do this. And then Kurt got in his shit, started screaming out, just as he said, "You're fired!" And next, you know, boom, then you hit Brock's music comes out. He walks down, stares a hole at Corbin, then goes over to Angle. You got a problem with me? And then he picks him up, boom, F5s him. And then looks over at Corbin. Corbin's like, and then just climbs out of the ring. Which, to me, from a fan perspective, kind of negates everything he was trying to push with Finn Balor. You know, being the bigger guy, being the big guy. He's taller than Brock. I think he's roughly around Brock's weight. You know, but he wants to go and try and say, oh no, he's a big guy. Brock's only about 6'2", 6'3". So he's roughly, Brock Lesnar is shorter than Baron Corbin. He still could have gone and tried to do that whole big guy thing. Didn't. So, to me, from a fan perspective, that negated and shit all over everything he was trying to push with Finn Balor. So, hopefully Finn takes that, makes it a bullet, puts it in the chamber, click, click, boom, and uses it to shoot on him, saying on how, hey, big man, didn't you walk out on Brock Lesnar? And aren't you bigger? You know, something like that. But yeah, after he F5'd Angle, he climbed out the ring and just left, and that was it. So that was the end segment of the show. Now I know you're all wondering, well, what the fuck? Why didn't Roman do something? Earlier in the show, Roman Reigns got told he was forcibly told to leave. So yeah. So that was it. So all in all, it was a pretty okay show. I give it a 6.5 to a 7, you know. But yeah. So that was it. So folks, like on normal, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Make sure y'all look for me on my Twitter, @TimVicious. Also do have another account, Tim_Vicious. I go on there every now and then when I get in Twitter jail or if I'm ghosted. Also on that Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you look for me on there, if you follow me on there, make sure you let me know you found me on there from here or on my Facebook or on my Twitter, @TimVicious. I don't think you got your page on go. Make sure you also follow all of these cool ass cats right here on the Twitter. Axel Mug and Kenny Killer. My two good brothers, Danny Sunday and Oliver Ben, who's the executive producer for this week's show. Did also provide music for it. Make sure y'all check it out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, and such. Details are down below. Cranky Grandpa. Oh, Aaron wound up changing her handle. I gotta double check on that. I apologize. As well as Daz MWP over at the Match Wrestling crew. Folks, like I always tell you, love me, great, you hate me.
I mean, I think we're all the same, but I don't think we think the same.